Hello, and welcome to my March bullet journal setup. If you're new here, hi, my name is Hannah. If not, welcome back. This month I posted a poll on my Instagram of different themes, and most of you voted for a Pisces theme. Now, my birthday is in March, and I am very much a Pisces, so I had fun doing this video. Now, the Ireland and Van Gogh themes were close in numbers during the poll, so I tried to incorporate some of the elements of them into the weekly spreads. I mainly focused on the elements of water and the color aqua, but I will go into further detail later on in the video. If you'd like to vote on next month's theme and other content here, make sure to check out my Instagram account. I hope that you like these pages, and if you do, make sure to check out that like and subscribe button. Now, let's get into it. So for the main title, I wanted to go with the Pisces twin fish symbol. Now, I'm not much of a fish person, meaning I don't like to eat them or have a desire to own them, but I love everything or anything that's water related. When I was little, I was actually nicknamed Fish because anytime they were swimming, I would never leave the water and I always wanted to get into the water. I was swimming at a very young age and would swim in the cold water too, but unfortunately I don't have much of an opportunity to swim lately the past couple years, but I'm hoping to change that this year. Now, I know the Pisces colors are blue, pink, and indigo, and while I did that in a lot of the other spreads, I really wanted to incorporate yellow here and then in the Van Gogh theme. Blue and yellow are my favorite colors and my favorite color combinations, but if you're not a fan of yellow, you could totally change up the colors to whatever you prefer. I'm sure you already know this if you're interested in the Pisces theme, but Pisces are those born between February 19th and March 20th. Now, this can vary if you're looking at your sun or your moon sign. Now, I'm not an avid horoscope follower, but I do like to check in on some monthly themes and some predictions, and I find that the predictions are sometimes accurate for me, and I do find that the Pisces theme itself is pretty accurate to who I am. What is your horoscope? Let me know in the comments. Do you think that your horoscope suits you? I could not decide what to do with the title itself that went in the middle. I had it horizontal, then I had it vertical, and I had it abstract and typewriter. Ended up just going with the plain black with a white on the inside. Sorry about my head poking into the camera there, but you guys can do whatever that you prefer and that you think looks good. Now, for my page that always sits next to my title, I like to have a small minimal calendar that records the hockey games that I like to watch, my yoga class, and other things like birthdays. You can make the calendar bigger if you wanted. You could just not have the calendar at all, but I do like to have it for just to check to see when I have things going on throughout the week. Below that, I like to put my goals for the month. I haven't written them out, but I just like to write out the main things that I want to get done during the month that I can go back and look. Also, sometimes just write things that maybe notes, I'll write it in pencil that I need to think about. But you can have it however you want. I just did some simple watercolor at the top. I really could not decide what I wanted to do at the top, and for the bottom I just did the Pisces constellation. I have no idea where the footage of me setting up those columns went, but I just did the same thing that I do in all my months, which you can go check out, is just the activity. I like to write it out. I like to write out my exercise for the day and plan, and I just like to color coordinate the calories I burn. You can have it set up however way that you want. For this theme, for these pages, I wanted to go with more of the constellation theme, and so I have some galaxy tape and then just went with pale blues. For the habit trackers off to the side, I do have a Fitbit, so I track most of everything on there, but for these I like to track when I wash my hair, when I do laundry, and things like that. So it's kind of tracking when did I last do this, and that's also the same as my previous months, so you can also check those out there. So here I was just using watercolors and gouache to create a galaxy background to put the Pisces constellation on top again. I really like the Pisces constellation. Oh, and here, Makara too has made it in. She's one of my favorite YouTubers, and so sorry about that. I did not realize that it was in, but here you go. You can see who I like to watch while I'm working. So at the bottom, instead of deciding to do a meal plan at the bottom, I did a little Pisces horoscope forecast. And I just used some of the things that I saw online, but I mainly used the Embody Astrology with Renee Sills podcast, and just things that you should look out for the month, things that you should focus on, things like that. So if that's something you're interested, you could definitely go check it out and do one for your own. For my week 10, I kind of wanted to do a little like mermaid, fish scale theme that was kind of like aquatic. To be honest, I really don't like how this page turned out. I kind of liked it at first, and then as I kept going on, you'll see that I just felt like it didn't like fit the rest of my themes and wasn't really me. So I really like mess around with this. I just mainly did the watercolor and then did white gouache on top to kind of look like fishnet, fish scales. And then later on added some like layering washi tape and stuff, as you'll also see. Now during the month of January, I had all of my to-do lists on one page, and then in February I had them on 2 pages. And I kind of like both. I do admit that I like having 2 pages for 1 week and having like the space to write everything out. And I also really prefer having horizontal spreads to vertical spreads, but I did a little bit of both here. I have, I think, 2 or 3 weeks that are vertical and 2 that are horizontal. What do you guys prefer? Do you prefer horizontal or do you prefer vertical spreads? Now I did another poll on my Instagram asking whether you guys liked watercolor spreads or more minimal spreads, and most of you guys said that you liked having watercolor spreads. And I was curious if you guys prefer kind of the simple watercolor that I kind of did in this month, or if you guys prefer the watercolor spreads like the one I did in my September Harry Potter, where it's much more detailed and a little bit more elaborate. Just trying to get a feel of what you guys like. Do you guys like the minimal weekly spreads? And earlier you can see here that I'm kind of like piecing together some washi tape and stickers and just some like construction paper that I had. I just didn't like how it looked. I felt like it needed something. And I did a Vincent van Gogh quote here, is the heart is very much like the sea. It has its storms, it has its tides, and in its depth, it has its pearls too. So for week 11, which is my birthday week, I went with a Van Gogh theme, and I did a Starry Night over the Rhine here, and I did not do that on camera because one, it took like 2 hours, and I just didn't have enough light to do it. I wanted to get this done, and so I just did the Starry Night off to the side here on camera. Now I just did all this with Crayola Super Tips and some Tombow pens. It is not perfect. It is not completely accurate or anything to Van Gogh. I kind of just did it a little bit loosely based on it, and I did it with much brighter colors since I was trying to go for a brighter teal theme. Now if you're wanting to do a strictly Van Gogh theme, I do know, I think Plant-Based Bride did a Starry Night theme, so that's something you could check out. I actually had a lot of fun doing this. Usually I only do watercolor, so doing it with marker was kind of fun. I would definitely consider doing another like famous paintings like Monet and Degas again, so let me know if that's something you would like. I recently shared one of my oil paintings on Instagram, and it made me consider, since you guys like time lapses, would you like to see like an oil painting time lapse here on this channel? So for week 12, I originally decided doing like watercolor at the top and then just having simple. Then I switched to an Ireland theme with photos from my travels from like about 2 or 3 years ago. And oops, here's Adam Cowser. He's a YouTuber, check him out if you like hockey, but hey, Ireland. But I have photos from the Baby Cliffs of Moher and then a small island off the coast of Galway here. And I originally was going to do like a watercolor silky theme, but then decided against it because I just wanted something really simple. So many of the spreads in this week were like really busy and fussy, and so I wanted to go with something more minimal. And I like horizontal spreads more than vertical, as I mentioned. So here I'm just kind of just doing simple black letterings to write everything out. It's also fitting for having Ireland during this week, since this is also the week that there is St. Patty's. So for week 13, I kind of want to focus on the other elements of Pisces, which is the flowers and the colors. So I used all the colors, which is like the pinks and the blues and the indigos, and just did them pastel. And then also the flowers of Pisces is gardenia, iris, and jasmine. And while those aren't really my favorite flowers, I love the look of jasmine, so I decided to go with that. And it's also very springy. Everything had been a little bit like darker and a little bit heavier and a little bit fussy, so I decided going with something more softer and a little bit more minimal. And then again, I decided to do a horizontal spread. Now I saw a post on Instagram that had like never underestimate, and then it said insert horoscope characteristics here, and I chose creativity, compassion, and sensitivity. I'm sorry if my voice is also sounding a little bit different in this part of the voiceover. I'm starting to lose it a little bit, so if you see a difference, that's why my voice sounds different right now. So for week 14, it's actually just 3 days, and so I just went with 3 little Polaroids right here, and then this little mermaid off to the side. I just did kind of a simple, like, flowy one. I didn't put a lot of detail into it. I just wanted to have a few more pastel colors and a little bit of more of the imaginative, dreamer kind of theme that I hadn't touched on in other spreads. And then at the space there, I'm just going to fill in some things of, like, just brain dumps and things on for the month that I can do. And if you watch closely here pretty soon, you will see me put my paintbrush in my tea. Now, you can see me laughing about it, but you believe it or not, this happens quite a lot. I'm just glad that this wasn't oil paint. So that's it for this month. Please let me know if you did like this spread. I love hearing back from you guys, and it also helps me kind of gauge what you guys like to see on this channel. I will be sharing these on my Instagram account so you guys can, like, screenshot them or anything like that. I love all the support that you guys give, just whether it's views or likes or comments or heading over my Instagram and saying that you like it. It really means a lot. It's so encouraging, and I just love, like, talking with you guys. So I really do hope that you guys liked this. If you have something that you want to see for April, or that you want to see on my channel, or want to see me paint, please let me know. I'm open to anything. I really enjoyed doing this. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing the markers for Van Gogh, and I love the colors for this theme, and I hope you guys do too. I hope that you're having a great rest of your February and a wonderful start to March. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope that you have an absolutely amazing day. Happy journaling!